Fear. "We are outnumbered 5-1," shouted someone. "We can't defeat them," added another voice to the emergency council. 10 minutes before, the negotiations with the neighboring tribe had ended. "Quiet!" shouted the war chief over the murmuring. "Whatever you think, we have to make a stand tomorrow." They were very clear. Either we became slaves, or they attacked at dawn. Right now, we do not need doomsayers. We are in need of smart minds and clever ideas. After this, he could see the heads turning and looking at each other, but no one came forward with an idea. "So no one has an idea," Davy mumbled. But then a voice broke through the silence. "I have an idea." Davy looked around the great hall to find a voice in the crowd. His eyes fell on the curtain behind which he lived. He could sense that someone had spoken from over there. "Step forward so we can see who it is that might save us," Davy asked. From behind the curtain came his wife, Yarima. All the men looked shocked, but none as much as the war chief himself. "What are you doing here?" he asked under his breath. "Coming forward with an idea," was the simple response. "And I live here." Grumbling, Davy motioned that she could take the floor. "As my dear husband explained to me many a time, numbers don't matter when there is fear playing. To that I say that we need to make the enemy scared of us. What does everyone fear?" She left a pause for effect. "Death. We have to make the enemy believe that we are messengers from death." Once she finished, it stayed quiet for a couple of moments, but then someone started to laugh. Others joined in. Davy came to stand next to her. He was grinning. "It's not going to work," he said. "But good effort. Can you leave us now?" Yarima was offended and made it clear to her husband. "You want me to leave because I am a woman? Because women don't know about war?" she asked angrily. His answer was short and blunt. "Yes." She left fuming. Tonight there was going to be a fight. A big one. She stumped to the well and started gathering water for cooking. While she was doing this, she actually started wondering how to dress like a messenger of death. She had seen loads of dead and skinned animals. Those were not scary, but what if? An idea started forming in her head. Later that evening, there was the big fight between husband and wife. The whole village must have heard, but they would not have been the model couple they were if they could not see past their differences. Once it ended, Davy explained what they were going to do about the enemy, where they were going to make a stand, and when. They had come up with quite a good plan, but it was not going to be enough, thought Yarima. She was going to lend a hand and strike fear in the enemy's heart. She waited for her husband to fall asleep. Then she snuck out in the night. She covered her horse with ashes and painted over the bones with the white paint. When she was done, she looked at the horse from a distance. It looked like a demon straight from a nightmare. Now it was her turn. She went through the same process as the horse. It took a bit longer to finish, but she got it done. Yarima could not see herself, but she thought that she would look as scary as the horse. She got on the horse and exited the village in the direction of the enemy encampment. She rode until she saw the campfires around the camp. The moon was not yet visible, so she stayed out of sight. The moment the moon came up, she started circling the camp. She made sure that she kept enough distance to not raise an alarm, but close enough that she got seen several times. With irregular gaps, she repeated this process until the moon started to sink back towards the earth. By now, everyone in the camp probably knew of the demon circling the camp. She rode back to where the war band would make their first stand. It was at the edge of the forest surrounding their homes. The sun started to rise and fog started to form. Yarima was tired, but she needed to do this last thing. It would be the finishing blow to the morale of the enemy. She had to appear just before her husband and the warband struck. When the enemy approached, she waited for the right moment. A cloud of fog passed by and she rode with it in the open field. She stopped when she was a couple meters in the open and waited for the fog to blow by. For the approaching enemy, it was as if a horse-riding skeleton appeared out of thin air. She waited until the whole enemy warband had seen her, and turned back and rode back to the village, with the next covering cloud of fog. If that was not scary, she did not know what was. Hardly a minute later, she saw the warband appear. Davi led them. Without a word, he sent her home. She went. Yarima washed herself and the horse. She just wanted to lay down when Davi came in. He did not say anything at first but looked puzzled. At last he said, "We won with hardly any losses. They were so scared of us that they ran at first contact." Yarima laid down and fell asleep with a triumphant smile on her face. The way he had treated her during the gathering went in the bag for later use.